origin story is that I left school at 18 and became a dental technician. Studied, served an apprenticeship, worked as a technician in a laboratory for about 4 years. It was a laboratory that was attached to a dental practice, so we saw clinical and technical aspects of the role. But after 4 years of training, I realised and qualified, realised that I didn't want to do that for the rest of my career. So I was looking for an alternative and found a sales position in dentistry. So I started as a sales representative in the dental market at about 22 and started to work with dental practices, dental teams. And I always remember the level of anxiety I went through in that first 6 months in the role, because it was before mobile phones, before the internet, and I was literally given 11 yellow pages, which constituted my territory, a company car, and then told that, that was my job was now to go and create customers, go and win customers. And I did it without any real training in how to sell and how to engage people. It was all learning on the job, and it was quite a stressful time. I didn't realise it at the time, didn't realise it back then, but it really was quite a stressful experience. But about 18 months in, I realised that I'd made some good progress, but that I was kind of hit a bit of a plateau. I wasn't getting any further. So I went and worked for another company, a much larger dental company. And with that larger dental company came structured training and development. And that was the first time I was ever taught how to sell. So at 24, I was finally taught how to sell properly. And it was game changing for me. It really helped me to understand how to engage with people more consistently, how to have a better, more consultative conversation, how to ask high quality questions, elicit customers' needs, really understand what it takes to draw change and inspire change from people from the inside out. My career then completely changed. I was able to produce more results more consistently. I felt more confident in my ability, really saw an incredible change. And I was with that company for about 4 years and had a couple of positions, a couple of promotions. And then I joined 3M in September 99. And that was yet another evolution for me. So at that point I joined, again, I was still in dentistry at that time. I joined the dental business. Within a year, they made an acquisition of another company. So the company size for dentistry doubled, literally overnight. There was a bigger sales team, and then a sales management opportunity came up, and I applied for the position. I got the position as sales manager. And all of the challenges I had when I first went into sales came back at me in my first role as a sales manager, because I thought that as a high performer, I could just direct people, show them what I'd done to be a high performer, and that they'd be able to do the same. And of course, leadership, very much like sales, isn't about pushing and directing people so much as showing them the way and then inspiring them to follow, and inspiring people to do the right things, and helping understand their motivations, and then matching their motivations to what you can provide either as a leader or as a salesperson. And so in that first sales supervisor or sales management role, I didn't do very well. I spent 6 to 8 months, and then I was asked if I wanted to try something else instead. And it was the right decision, because I was not a very good sales leader first time round. So I went into a key account management role, looking after really large businesses, again in dentistry. That was a great opportunity for me to learn a more strategic sales approach, a more strategic customer base, managing really difficult, larger, more complex organizations. It was really, really valuable. I didn't realize it at the time. I was quite distressed at the time, but it was the right thing. I started to learn how to coach, started to read a number of management theory books and leadership development books. And a couple of years after that, then about 2004, I was able to try again at being a sales manager, this time for a medical company within 3M. And this time it's a completely different story. I was able to really think about the approach I took. I was deliberate about my leadership, intentional about being a leader and not just a sales professional. And that's the key distinction. When we move into leadership, we have to recognize a number of changes in ourselves that help us to elevate our position and switch mindsets from being the doer, taking the action, to being the observer and coach, and creating clarity for our teams, helping them overcome their own blocks, barriers and issues, and really starting to think about leadership as a position of its own. We're not salespeople or performers, functional performers anymore. We are leaders of that organization, leaders of that team, and our job is to inspire them to then perform. And from there, I went on to manage businesses for 3M. I went outside of dentistry then. I was working not just in medical, but then I went on to work for an IT accessories business for 3M. I worked in their industrial markets business. And then in the kind of 2012-14, I came back into healthcare, worked for a data analytics company within 3M, Health Information Systems. After that, I went into their commercial team to lead their commercial organization. And from there, my final role with them was as the general sales and marketing manager for their largest division, their wound care division in the UK. So quite a journey from dental technician right the way through to business leader of one of the largest divisions in one of the top 50 companies in the world. And all of it happened, over 25 years or so. And then in 2017, I realized I'd reached a point in my career that I hadn't realized that when I got there, I wasn't going to enjoy. I was running a really large organization, big team, but the responsibilities were very much around the figures, the numbers for the business, reviews, a lot of internal work. And I recognized that actually my strength, my key strength, my unique ability, what I'm here on this earth to do is to lead, develop, mentor, coach people to the highest levels of performance. And I just wasn't having the opportunity to do that. And so I took a step back from that role, away from the corporate world, set up Focus for Growth in April 2018, and at the same time retrained as an executive coach. From there, I was able to distill the 28 or so years of business and leadership and sales experience and start to think about how I was going to take that to my customers, not just as a coach, but as a business advisor, a consultant, a trainer, and a mentor to my clients. And that really has started the journey. And in the last 4 years, it's only been 4 years, but in 4 years I've published two books, one of which has been a bestseller for sales teams. How do you take a really consultative approach to selling? How do you follow systems? How do you think about 3 principles of high performance? Psychology, getting the mindset right, building self-confidence, building self-belief, helping people to understand that they have an intrinsic motivation, and if they really ignite the fire in themselves, they can achieve the most incredible things that they didn't even think was possible. Second is then think about the skills. So psychology first, then the skills we need to develop. Communication skills are vital for us all, but in sales and business roles, absolutely underpin everything that we need in order to perform at the highest level. So communication first, thinking about actually managing ourselves very often, being uncomfortable, recognizing that there are going to be periods of our working life, our life in general, where we feel incredibly uncomfortable, but learning to manage that discomfort so that we can still perform, so that we're not hijacked by our emotions, recognizing the skill that takes to be calm in difficult situations. That really is a skill that needs developing, and skills like muscle. So figuring out which are the key skills for the positions that we're in, and then managing those skills, developing them, cultivating them, skill by skill, step by step, day by day, week by week, over and over again. And then finally, we systemize. So we do the right things in the right order, get the stages of the process lined up in the right way. And we do this through our Inspire sales process and our coach leadership process. Just make sure that we understand what the stages of each of the processes that we're working through, and how do we make sure that we optimize it, go through it consistently over and over again, and then performance just soars. We scale and soar performance. So that's been my background until now. I get asked a lot about my background and what's been my journey so far. I wanted to record this to share with clients and potential clients alike. We run bespoke programs for clients and open academies for those organizations where perhaps you don't have as large a team that requires a bespoke program, but you still want the development either in sales or in leadership for your sales and business teams. Please feel free to get in contact with us. I'd love to hear your origin story too.